Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, and it's October 19th. So let's begin by doing our daily attendance, please. And then we'll go into this week's folder, 1019 to 1023. And today is Monday, like I said, the 19th. It's an E-day for lab purposes. Our agenda for class, we're doing a Google Meet. You're doing your daily attendance form. Please answer the bell ringer, and then we're starting an activity. It's going to take you probably 2 periods to complete. We're building macromolecules, so you're actually going to be moving little pieces around on your Chromebook, but you're going to be manipulating things to build some large organic compounds. So this will be due Wednesday. You'll submit it to me. We are going to do some of it together, so I'll show you on video here how we're going to go about doing some of it. Your homework is to, if you're in the CF group in lab, you're finishing your alien juice bar for tomorrow. As far as lab goes today, we're going to have our Google Meet, and you're doing the daily attendance, and then I'm giving it as a study hall so that you can finish the alien juice bar lab or any other missing labs that you may be behind on. Let's go inside this folder. You've got your bell ringer, and then the building macromolecules activity. So it is due Wednesday. You're going to have 2 class periods to complete it. We will start working on it together, and then you can continue at your own pace, and then submit when you're done. So remember, you're clicking the My Document button. I'm going to open it this way so you can see what it looks like. You don't have to put your name and class period here. You can if you want to, but when you submit it, it tells me who you are. Okay, so our objectives, I'm going to get rid of me right now. Our objectives are to describe the general structure, functions, subunits, and examples for each of the 4 types of macromolecules. We want to understand the processes of synthesis and digestion, and we want to create models to show the arrangements of different types of polymers and macromolecules. So we'll go to the next page. And so you're going to fill in the blank, and if you look over here on the side, I do have some little shapes over here, so don't forget about those. But you want to use your past notes, or you can use your textbook to remember what the information might be in these boxes, but you're going to type your answers in these boxes. So for example, you're assembling a disaccharide. And remember, anytime you hear saccharide or saccharin, they're talking about a type of sugar or carbohydrate. All right, so now we're talking about carbohydrates here. The building block or the monomer of carbohydrates are, and you're going to type in, hopefully you remember that it's glucose. And they're also known as, so it doesn't just have to be known as glucose, they could be monosaccharides, and you can reverse these, you know, if you remember them differently. So we're going to put 2 of these monosaccharides into a horizontal chain in the space below. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that simple sugar and that simple sugar, and we're going to put them right next to each other so they're bonded. Okay, and that's how we're going to create our larger molecule. So the building of a larger molecule from a smaller molecule is called, and that, when we're making something bigger, that is synthesis. So we would put that in. And then we're going to put the term synthesis next to this molecule. And it should have been over here. I'll have to place it in here for you, but you'll put the word synthesis right here in this box. And then we'll go on to the next slide, and you're assembling a polysaccharide. So you're going to follow the direction and use these sugars to create your polysaccharide. And then we'll move on to make a protein. Very similar, you have to know the monomer or building block of a protein. And here's your monomers, okay, that's going to help you. And then we'll move on to a larger protein. And we have, excuse me, we have triglycerides. Now, triglycerides are part of lipids. So the building blocks or monomers of all lipids are, and you'll have to remember what they are. To build a triglyceride, you also need an additional piece. So if you don't remember the names, you could peek over here and remember the names. And if you look up triglycerides and look at the structure, I think I may have mentioned it during our notes too. What shape do they kind of take? What letter do they almost look like? So if you figure that out, you're going to build your lipid over here in this space. And then we're going to assemble DNA. So you have to remember the building blocks of DNA. And you also have to remember what each of those building blocks of nucleotide is made of. And you're going to build that here. And then we have an ATP nucleotide. Remember, that's our nucleic acid that is good for energy. So you're going to build that here. And then post-lab questions. You need to make sure you know the 4 types of macromolecules and their subunits. And then the last slide is asking about in each model, oh, I'm sorry, it's not the last slide, we have one more. What process is shown in each model where you're building something bigger from something smaller? And then we have what process is used to break down macromolecules into monomers. This is going to be the opposite of the other one. And I want you to show an example. So what you're going to do is, if we're taking a big molecule, so we built a disaccharide earlier, so that's what you're going to build first. They're bonded together. And you have to remember which process this is. If we're breaking this apart, we're going to end up with a simple sugar here and a simple sugar there, separate from each other after we go through this process. So is it called digestion when you break a large molecule into small ones, or is it called synthesis? So I'm going to leave that up to you to figure that out, but that's how you are going to complete this activity. It's not too bad. Like I said, I'm giving you 2 days just so that you have plenty of time to complete it. And let me know if you have any questions.